Welcome to this week's Race Room. Coming up on today's show, we've got the ultimate Australian Grand Prix quiz. We are talking you through the new Mercedes engine for 2014, and we've got the latest from Rally Mexico. Right, so we found the ultimate quiz about the Australian Grand Prix thanks to our friends at Sky. We want you to try and answer them, so make sure you comment below if you know the answers to even one of the questions, and we'll come back and tell you whether you've got it right. So first things first, I'm going to give you the three first ones on the quiz. Number one, true or false? No Australian has ever finished on the podium at the Australian Grand Prix. What do you think? Okay, number two, which current F1 driver is the most successful in Melbourne? Do you know? Who achieved their 31st and final F1 victory at the 1994 Australian Grand Prix? If you know the answers, comment below. There are more questions coming up throughout today's Race Room. Now it's time for the news. So Sebastien Ogier is back to his winning ways, taking his second victory of the season, winning out at Rally Mexico. That also catapults him back to the top of the leaderboard for the World Championship. He's now 3 points ahead of his teammate Jari-Matti Latvala. Jari-Matti Latvala also finishing on the podium out in Mexico. He took second place, but the biggest news of all, Thierry Neuville completing the podium, taking the first podium place for Hyundai, their first ever in WRC. And it wasn't plain sailing for Thierry. He had to fill up his engine's radiator with, yes, get this, Corona, because there was a leak on the last stage. So what a lad, and getting the podium position for Hyundai for the first time. So cool. So that's your news.
The new Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 W05 for the 2014 race season is powered by a technical revolution, the power unit. The PU106A hybrid combines a turbocharged direct injection V6 engine with an advanced hybrid energy recovery system to become the most advanced power unit in the history of Formula One. The new engine regulations require downsizing from a 2.4-litre V8 to a 1.6-litre V6. Maximum revs have dropped from 18,000 RPM to 15,000. To achieve higher and more efficient power output, the new V6 is fitted with a turbocharging system and high-pressure direct fuel injection. This turbocharger uses the otherwise wasted exhaust gas to push more fresh air into the combustion chamber for enhanced fuel efficiency. Before reaching the air intake, the compressed air passes through an intercooler to increase its power density. The hybrid system is called the Energy Recovery System. It has two electrical devices called motor generator units and the battery called the Energy Store. The MGU-K that harvests braking energy like the previous KER system, and the MGU-H, which is harvesting the turbo energy. Both send power to the energy store when working as generators, and when deployed act as motors fed by the battery or each other's energy. The electric motors on their own develop more power than a family saloon car. It's the most advanced hybrid system yet seen in a race car. This new technology is used to achieve maximum efficiency because Formula One is now a fuel-based racing formula. Each driver has a race fuel allowance of 100 kilograms from lights to flag, compared to around 150 kilograms in 2013. To meet this challenge, Mercedes-Benz partner Petronas has developed tailor-made fluid technology solutions with oil and fuel that are matched molecule by molecule to the engine's performance needs. The result is that the new power unit gets over 30% more power out of every drop of fuel than the previous generation V8. 2014 will mark the beginning of a fascinating new chapter of hybrid racing at the pinnacle of global motorsport.
So did you know the first three answers to the first questions I gave you? I hope you did, because there's some more questions coming your way. Number 4, Melbourne has hosted the race since 1996, but what was the previous venue? Do you know where it was held before? Number 5, how many Australian world champions have there been? Do you know? 1, 2, 3, how many? And number 6, when did the Australian Grand Prix join the F1 calendar? If you know what to do. Comment below. We want your answers. Oh, what has the camera seen this week? Let's have a look. So we've actually had people sending in pictures, which is what I've been asking for, and I'm so happy that we've received this one from David Skidmore. He says, strange request, can you put my cat on your show? That is the fluffiest cat I think I've ever seen. Also looking quite lazy, but we love it. Thanks for sending that in. So that's what David's camera's seen. Well, what have we seen here? Ha ha ha! Some awesome filming happening at Silverstone last week. Colin Furze, the maestro, sitting on, yes, that is a mobility scooter, in between his van and the hypersonic car. So keep an eye on our channel and Colin's channel for the videos from that day. It was an epic day. So yeah, that's what my camera saw at Silverstone. And then here, Avi Avikesh has sent us this very beautiful, romantic, makes me feel like I should be on holiday with palm trees. A beautiful picture there of a sunset. So thank you, Avi, for sending that in. We love that one. And finally, we were doing some more secret squirrel filming. You don't know why, so again, keep an eye on the channel. This, though, I'll give you a clue, was at Brands Hatch. An awesome day filming, and what an amazing sky there. Very ominous. Luckily, it didn't rain on us. So keep an eye on the channel. We'll have lots of videos coming from that day up on the channel soon. Right, it's quiz time again. We've got to refer back to question 6 now. So I asked you, when did the Australian Grand Prix join the F1 calendar? For question 7, we want to know who won that race when the Australian Grand Prix was added to the F1 calendar. Who won it? Do you know? Number 8, which team achieved their first victory since the 1993 Australian Grand Prix at the 1997 race? Question's a little confusing again, I'll read it again. Which team achieved their first victory since the 1993 Australian Grand Prix at the 1997 race? You can read that to make it clearer. And number 9, British drivers won 3 of the first 4 races at Albert Park. Can you name the winners? We want to know. Comment below. I feel like a teacher. Tweet time now. I love this part of the show, and Motors TV have tweeted this. Look at this picture of Andreas Mikkelsen. He had a terrible off at the weekend at Rally Mexico. He was actually in 2nd place, and then a pace note caused him to actually flip the car. Both he and his co-driver were all right, but look at this. The impact there on the front left, unbelievable. And look at the spectators, just way too close. You're meant to be behind something solid when a car is coming past. I think they've got like a barbed wire fence. Not ideal. Next tweet. Well, this says it all. Jenny Gao, who we had an awesome hangout with a couple of weeks ago. You can check that out on the channel. Here she is enjoying the hospitality of Martini, of course, the new title sponsor for Williams F1 team, now officially Williams Martini Racing. Look at that, that is a full glass Jenny Gao has there. I hope she didn't partake in any driving after this. Next tweet. I love this. Grand Prix Diary, an awesome tweet from you. They've made their Castrol Edge predictions for the Australian Grand Prix, and safe to say, see what I did there, that they think Bernd Maylander is going to be taking all the positions on the grid there. Pole position, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, podiums covered. Yeah, the safety car we think will do more laps at the Australian Grand Prix than probably any of the other cars. Luckily, it's not powered by a Renault. Next tweet. Jack Clark, who was my co-presenter at the Daytona 500 and at Goodwood last year, has announced that he'll be racing with Krabbies in the British Touring Car Championship. An awesome looking car. This is the artist's impression that he's tweeted. So it'll be interesting to see how Jack gets on. We will be watching with interest because we'll be following British touring cars very closely. So keep an eye on the channel. Next tweet. Now, I know this was a week or so ago, but we loved this selfie. And Fernando Alonso, obviously king of the selfies after that photo he took out in Monza after the Italian Grand Prix. And I love this. They've switched them all. So you've got all the drivers, Maldonado really going for it there on the edge. Lewis, we've got Nico, Sebastian Vettel looking like perhaps what he'll look like this weekend with his head in his hands. But yeah, what a wicked picture. Very, very cool. Next tweet. And finally, yes, Avi Avikesh. Avi's actually featured more, I think, in this race than I have. This is amazing. He's created this wicked little piece, wanted Nokia 3310 batteries, of course, making fun of those Renault ones that aren't working so well. They've got about 5 days to get it sorted. Yeah, we're sending you lots of luck, Adrian and Christian. And that is your tweets. Pen and paper at the ready again. I've got some more questions for you from the ultimate F1 quiz about Australian Grand Prix. Number 10, who won the race in 2013? Do you know? Can you remember? It was only a year ago. 11, who is the only Italian to win the Australian Grand Prix? And 12, who finished 5th for Minardi in the 2002 race? That's quite a long time ago, so cast your mind back. Comment below if you know the answers. Now, we've been talking about the Australian Grand Prix all race from. We won't be there this weekend, but of course it's the first round of the 2014 Formula One World Championship. Who's going to win? We want to know what you think. Make your predictions and comment below. Finally though, I've got some more questions, the last 3. Number 13. Just 3 corners into the first race at Albert Park, which Jordan driver was fired into the air, somersaulting into the gravel? Do you know? What a crash. Number 14. Which 2 drivers collided whilst fighting for the 1994 Drivers' Championship in Australia? And finally, the last question of the quiz. Since the race moved to Albert Park, how many of the 18 races have been won by that year's world champion? Now that is a good question to end on. That is your quiz. Comment below, tell us what you think. Can you answer all of them? I bet there are a lot of you out there that can. We will see you next week for another race room, but this weekend, enjoy the Grand Prix. We definitely will.
Martini Stripes returning to Formula One, and I think you only have to see the amount of people in the room for today to realise that